Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into something that affects literally every single one of us, our daily meals. I'm going to show you exactly how simple ingredient swaps work and how you can massively upgrade your diet without losing the foods you actually love to eat.
So, here's a question. Do you really have to give up your favorite foods just to be healthy? I know, so often we assume that eating better requires this miserable total kitchen overhaul, right? We think we've got to throw away everything in the pantry and start, chewing on cardboard. But what if I told you that is completely false? You absolutely do not have to sacrifice taste for nutrition. All right, let's get into Section 1, the power of upgrades. We're talking small changes, big health benefits.
Right at the core of this whole approach are what we call smart swaps. Basically, this means replacing an everyday ingredient with a healthier alternative, one that improves your nutrition without sacrificing an ounce of taste. Don't even think of it as a restriction. Think of it as an upgrade. You're just optimizing your meal, kind of like how you'd upgrade the software on your phone to make it run smoother.
So why do these upgrades matter so much? Well, think of it like compound interest, but for your body. First off, reducing added sugar actively lowers your risk of diabetes. Cutting out unhealthy fats directly supports your heart. By boosting protein and fiber, you're keeping yourself full for way longer so you aren't snacking constantly. And finally, enhancing those micronutrients, that improves your daily immunity and energy. These tiny daily choices just compound into massive long-term vitality.
Moving on to Section 2, swapping carbs and sugar. It's time for smarter baking and bases.
Let's look at traditional baking, for example. Sugar isn't just in there for the sweetness, it actually adds essential moisture to a cake or a muffin. But here's a real game changer: applesauce. It does the exact same thing mechanically, but it brings this massive fiber bonus to the table and severely cuts the calories. It is just an incredibly efficient upgrade for your baked goods.
Next up is the base of literally so many of our meals, white rice. Swapping that out for cauliflower rice is an absolute genius kitchen hack. You're taking a carb-heavy base and replacing it with a vegetable. This instantly lowers the carbohydrates of the whole meal while drastically boosting your fiber intake. It keeps you full and energized without that heavy, sluggish crash later.
Okay, we have to talk about pasta. The smart swap here is zucchini noodles, or zoodles. And look, I hear you. Let's acknowledge right now that a zucchini is obviously not a giant, comforting bowl of traditional Italian pasta. However, when you pair it with a really great sauce, the texture works beautifully. You massively reduce your calorie intake, and you get a tremendous boost of essential vitamins. It's a fantastic swap for sure.
Now here's a super simple one you can make literally today. Replace your white flour with whole wheat flour. The benefits here are clear as day: more fiber and way better digestion. Your body just processes whole wheat flour much more efficiently, so you avoid those sharp blood sugar spikes you get with heavily refined white flour.
Let's pivot to Section 3, upgrading fats and proteins. These are your heart-healthy and filling choices.
This next one brilliantly illustrates the concept of a double-duty upgrade. Next time a recipe calls for sour cream or mayo, which are usually pretty high in unhealthy fats and calories, grab some Greek yogurt instead. Greek yogurt gives you that exact same creamy, tangy texture for your dips or your tacos, but it significantly drops the fat content while injecting a huge dose of muscle-building protein.
What about breakfast? Instead of your classic butter on toast, give avocado a try. Butter is loading you up with saturated fats, but avocado delivers rich, heart-friendly, healthy fats. It's just as creamy, it tastes amazing with a little salt and pepper, and it actually starts your day off supporting your cardiovascular system instead of taxing it.
When dinner rolls around, don't sleep on the power of plant protein. If you're making a bolognese, a chili, or maybe a shepherd's pie, try swapping out some or even all of the ground meat for lentils. Lentils have this fantastic, hearty texture that mimics ground meat beautifully. But the best part, they actively work to lower your cholesterol while providing incredibly clean plant protein.
And we absolutely can't forget about seasoning. We all instinctively reach for the salt shaker, right? But the smart swap is to rely heavily on herbs and spices instead. By doing this, you aren't just reducing your sodium intake, which, by the way, is absolutely crucial for your blood pressure. You're actually enhancing the complex flavor profile of the whole dish. You're making your food taste better and making it better for you.
So, if we put it all together, we get this master list from Rasta Infotech. It perfectly sums up this whole approach. Whether it's the applesauce for sugar or the lentils for ground meat, you can really see how simple ingredient swaps work in everyday cooking. They're so accessible, every single swap here has a direct, mechanical health benefit that makes optimizing your meals totally straightforward. That brings us to Section 4, Expert Tips for Success. Let's talk about how to implement these swaps seamlessly.
So having the list is great, but how do we actually execute this? Number 1, start small. Seriously, don't change everything tonight. Just replace one ingredient in one meal. Number 2, and this is a big one, respect function. Remember earlier when we talked about baking? Sugar adds moisture, flour adds structure. You have to choose swaps that maintain that specific texture or your recipe is going to fall flat. Number 3, taste test as you go, adjusting your herbs and spices to balance out the new flavors. And finally, number 4, be flexible. Actually, scratch that. Be adventurous. Not every swap works perfectly in every single recipe. Half the fun is just experimenting in the kitchen to see what works best for your own palate.
Rasta Infotech kind of hits the nail on the head with this quote. Upgrade your meals one ingredient at a time. You see, healthy eating doesn't have to require stress. Small, isolated, smart choices compound over time. They lead to lasting health and ultimately a body that feels stronger and lives longer.
So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Which ingredient are you going to swap first? Take a peek in your fridge, look in your pantry today. Pick just one thing we talked about, maybe it's the Greek yogurt, maybe the cauliflower rice, and make that highly effective upgrade tonight. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer and happy, healthy cooking.